A look. Hey, it's my giant hands. And tonight we're going to be taking a look at some of the body panels from Wes made that he sent along to help me put together this VW thing pickup. Hey, Wes is watching. Right on. Excellent. No audio. Son of a gun. That can't be right. So you can hear me. You guys got to let me know if you can actually hear me. Then don't say you can't hear me, because it makes me shut it off and start again. Okay, we'll give everyone a second here to jump back in. Presumably everybody can hear me. Yes. Okay, good. Perfect. Fantastic. It's just what I wanted to hear. Okay, so there was a delay. Oh, understood. Okay, fair enough. Well, everything seems to be fine now. So what we're doing tonight is we're continuing the build. This is the TGH Sherpa chassis here. What we're going to be doing here tonight is working a little bit on the actual body from Wes made. So let me just get this out of the way. Wes was kind enough to send me sort of a kit for the VW thing, and you can see some of the pieces here. This is the hood, and this is part of the front grille, and these are some of the front fenders. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of styrene work tonight. I have some tools here, not very many tonight, because you don't really require a whole bunch. Got a sharp Excel hobby blade. I've got a HB pencil. I've got a sanding block here, and I've also got some sanding paper attached to the actual surface of my desk. And that's so I can get nice, flat, straight panels. And isn't it nice to be able to see this? And it's cutting in and out. Huh. Well, I don't really know what to say. Everything is fine here. I'm literally not doing anything differently. It's all just audio. Can't really tell you that it's anything other than your internet connection, perhaps. The desk is flat, yes. Refreshing the stream if your audio's messed up. That's a good idea. People should try that. It's not always me, I'll have you know. Stand by. I lost my monitor here. One moment. There we go. Back to normal. So, yeah, what we're doing is we're going to be working with some of the elements here. Oh, Brian Sherwood, thanks very much. Button the top one. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. It's much more professional now. So, yeah, what we're going to be doing is building out the front clip. This is the sort of the hood panel here. And Wes was kind enough to include all of the blueprints that he used when he built these panels, excuse me, at the size that he built them at. Seems pretty good. Josh is in here. Oh, nuts. TGH, thank you very much. What axles? That's a great question, and one that I'm not prepared to answer yet, because I don't know. I'm sort of working on that idea. I'm open to suggestions for sure. I was looking at the SSD Diamond axles. I thought those were a nice looking housing, and I know that they get used fairly often in competition. I've also got a set of straight axles from Axial, portals from Traxxas maybe. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think is sort of the best sort of performance to cost to everything ratio. Josh has a question for you. Well, Josh, you know what to do to get a question answered around here. Oh yeah, VP axles. Yeah, I could use those for sure. Anyway, while I let those kind of roll in there, I'm going to start doing some of the styrene work here. So first things first, Wes was kind enough to actually also include a pencil line around where this panel should get trimmed. So I'm going to start working on that first. Okay, so you can see the lines there. I'm just going to start trimming on that, and we'll get this blueprint out of the way for now, and we'll just focus on this. This is going to be slow going because I want to do a good job, not a bad job. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly sort of score this panel right along that line that Wes laid out for us, and be very careful as we do it. And usually we'll go through this a few times. Like, we'll just kind of get that line as nicely sort of scored as we possibly can. And once you've kind of cut it once, it does follow that line quite easily. Ah, yes. The Dremel comments have already begun. I'm not surprised. Yeah, most people, you probably could use a Dremel here once you got this score line in, because there will be some rough edges still. But we're just gonna do this by hand because it's quieter. And for me, more accurate. And accuracy is kind of key. So I want to always make sure that these lines are as straight and as smooth and as carefully trimmed as possible. Because it's easier to do this carefully once than it is to repair it afterwards. That's never fun. All right. I'm legitimately impressed at the steady hand. Well, thank you very much, Josh. I'm not such a hack with a blade after all. It's all about just being patient. You know, good things come to those who wait, is how the saying goes, I've heard. And see, you can already see we're getting in there and we're making enough of a cut that it's already starting to come apart, which is exactly what you want. Travis is ban all Dremel comments. Thank you, guys. Travis, for those who don't know, for those that don't know, Matt has explained why he doesn't use a Dremel for this kind of thing. We think that joke has run its course, so let's refrain from those jokes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Travis. Nothing to drink yet today. I'm having one of my Mexican lagers. There we go. Ace Hill Mexican lager. And then I'm going to follow that up. I'm going pretty hard tonight, guys. I'm going to have a bubbly. Pineapple. Hey, what's up, Psycho 13 Garage? What's happening? Oh, one thing I did want to address, and this is actually a pretty... this is pretty relevant to this build, especially, because it is a hard body. Yes? That's true. Yes, it is. But one of the questions was, at what point does it not become a hard body anymore? Like, how do you ensure that you get the points? And I did some research. I went online to the Sorka.com website, which is extremely handy when you are building, because it does lay out all the points and how to get the best point layout and everything. Like, at what point does it not become a hard body? Your hard body panels need to be .060 or .060 inches in order to count as a hard body. And guess what? All of these panels are 060. Thank you, Wes. I'm not sure. I'm positive that wasn't your intention when you put this truck together, but I'm really glad you did. I did have a good birthday. Thank you, Adam. It was very enjoyable. My wife was extremely kind to me. She got me a bunch of gift cards for our local karting track, go-karts. They're electric, indoor. They go like, I don't know, 45 kilometers per hour. What else? AirPod Pros, which I'm pretty excited about. I like taking the dog for a walk or walks. So this is going to allow me a lot more opportunity to listen to books, which I'm pretty excited about. And I can answer the phone if I need to. They're really great. And what else? There was something else. Oh yeah, we're going to see 007. So that's cool. 060 before molding or after? It's definitely 060 after. I measured it. So we're good to go there. I try and build them to be ran, and that's just what you need. Right on, Wes. Thank you, my man. Like I said, whether that was intentional or not, it fits right into the circle points. TGH, thanks very much. I would recommend an SSD Diamond front and an SSD Pro rear. Standard ratio front R&P and VP underdrive, rear R&P. Oh, standard up front and then underdrive. Okay, interesting. Most people, I think, would probably just go overdrive. But I dig it. I love it. Thank you very much for the recommendation. I will take it under heavy consideration. That's such a rewarding feeling right there when it just snapped right through. It's perfect. Love it. Because you can score it, but you really want to be careful because you don't want to over or under score or and then bend and then break too much of it off. You want to try to keep it as close to that real line as possible. And you can see there, it's a little bit of a divot, but we'll be able to repair that with sanding. All right. So yeah, that was one of the things that came up, I think in the last video, the last live video when we built the chassis. So I'm really glad that I kind of did my due diligence and found that, and now I know for sure, which is good. It's good to know things for sure, because it would really suck if you got all the way there and you were anticipating getting the 12 points for a hard body build, and then you didn't get them, and then you were way under your points for the whole build. That would absolutely be brutal. I would be so disappointed in myself, mostly because, you know, it's up to the builder to do the research. Will there be glue tasting tonight? No, there will not be any glue tasting because I'm using methyl ethyl ketone, which is horrible. It's terribly bad poison. TGH, thanks again. Use a trimmed OG axial wild bore drive shaft for the upper. Copy that. And wild bore for the front and rear shafts. Keeps the sprung weight down. So you don't think I need metal shafts in a comp truck then, yes? Or no? This is all good information though, like for anybody who's watching, anybody who's doing a build or planning on doing one. That's great. Do I ever drive an RC while drinking? No, Michael, I do not. Just like real trucks, I don't drink and drive. Glue sniffing then, yeah. Wes, do you send the panels to be built a lot? Love to get the F250. I'd pay to see gasket licking. I don't know if I have any free gaskets. Or clean ones, moreover. I think that's probably a bigger issue. We're almost there on this piece. Hello, Hobby Room. I've learned so much from you, Matt. I used a silver backer on my first paint job. Hey, congratulations, Jet. That's great. Silver-backed paint jobs, Lexan especially. Hello, DK. Are super important because you don't want everything to show through. And it will if you don't do that. The dirtier the gasket, the more money. What happened to Josh's question? I thought Josh said he had a question. So we're almost there on this panel. I know it's taking longer than you would probably think, but this stuff is super important to not screw up. It's not like I've got another one of these sitting in the other room. It's not like a baking show. He said he had a suggestion. Oh, okay. You cutting towards your wrist made my butt clench. I'm a professional. What is it? Cut towards your buddy, not your body? Like this? I try to avoid doing this shaving technique here like I'm doing right now. But it does come in handy when you've got like a big giant chunk and you just kind of need to get it closer to the actual profile like I just did, which is perfect. Okay, now that that's cut out, we can do a little bit of this sanding here. My camera, this one up here, isn't mounted to this desk, so it doesn't wobble. Mike J, no, if you use black as your backing color, it's fine. It all depends on what you've backed over with, right? Like if you've got white lettering, for example, that's going to look terrible because it will darken the white. It'll actually affect the overall color density of the white. It'll turn out more like gray. Hey, Hobby Room, thanks very much. Thank you for providing educational content. This is educational? This show is over. Wes had to leave, so I'm not going to get any comments about how I've mucked it all up, which is good. Large plate of glass and a big sheet of sandpaper. Yep, that also works. I'm just kind of getting basic sanding done today. We're going to do a lot more later on. I always shake that directly into a garbage can and not go and blow it all over the room. But this is going to do for now. What we're going to do next is confirm that all of these pieces are going to fit together. So we've got our fenders, yes. And, oh wow. It's like Wes has built one or two of these before. But that's basically going to go right on there. And the contour, as you can see, is near on perfect. Or nigh on perfect. Taping sandpaper to the wife's kitchen table tonight. Do it, Wes. She'll be so happy. But anyway, that's going to go together perfectly, which is great. I'm really, really chuffed about that. Black Venom Radio Control, thanks very much. Changing channel, didn't realize this is educational. Yeah, me neither. Turn it off. It's always handy with a piece like this. You're like, okay, is this the top? Or is this the top? Have a couple of photos. Have a couple of photos handy. If not the actual blueprint. Ah, that goes that way. Okay. Cool. If you don't have the actual blueprint handy and print it out, grab a couple of photos off of Google image search and print those out and have them nearby while you're building. That way you never really muck up where things are supposed to go or how they're supposed to go together. It's abundantly easier than guessing. Guessing is wrong. Guessing is always wrong. Okay, so we're going to need to straighten out the edges on these pieces here because there is a seam in the real truck. I looked at it online. But we're going to want to make sure that that piece still matches up perfectly. So what we'll actually probably do, I'm trying to think through of what would Westmade do. I think he would glue this to this first. And then you can kind of fudge the amount of angle required to get it onto the actual hood. And we're not going to do any opening panels. This isn't a class 0 truck, so there's no extra points for an opening panel. You would get extra points if there was a visible engine, but we're not going to go to that because this is a class 2 comp build, not a class 1. Class 2 is all about performance, so we're going to really kind of work towards that. All right, let me just straighten this piece out a little bit more first. Good Stewarts, thanks very much. This is for a ticket to hopefully meet you, and I guess Josh in Alabama come April. I'm building a C2 rig and can't decide on brushless ESC. Thoughts? Well, I'm running the Holmes Crawlmaster Mini. Where is that? Here it is. This one right here. This is the kit. I believe it is a sensored system. I can't remember. It should be, because that's the kind of motor I have. But it's going to require some soldering and figuring out of some of those elements. Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I would go, if I could, I would go sensored and something small. I know that the Crawl Space guys, they run the Hobbywing Fusion to get the weight down even further. So that's something to consider for sure. Psycho Garage, thank you very much. I always tape sandpaper to my table to sand all my RC bodies, but the table is very heavy to move back and forth across the RC body. That's sensorless, eh? Yeah, okay, well, then we'll run that motor sensorless. Or maybe I got the wrong, oops, maybe I got the wrong motor. I don't know. I think it was supposed to be sensorless, but they included a censored motor. I'll look into that. No matter, there's plenty of time. What grit? Great question. I think it's 180. I don't need massive, super hard grit on this. It's supposed to be a pretty smooth and easy kind of build, so there we go. TGH thinks Holmes brushed power, eh? All right. So that's probably going to match up pretty nicely. Let's see here. I think the best kind of route to go here would be to find our place to match it all up. Maybe it's easier to start here. Now that I think about it. I'm going to sneeze again. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Team Garage Hack, for that. Holmes brushed power. Brushed, eh? I guess it is simpler. Oh, hey, handy hot tip. This is one of my favorite tips, actually. I learned this from Pardon My Noob. This is my MEK bottle, and I've got it in 2 crummy old RC 4-wheel drive Desert King tires. Crap tires. Absolute garbage. I don't think they sell them anymore. But they fit perfectly around the bottle. As you can see. Fits in there really nicely. And makes it way harder to tip it over on the bench. I definitely recommend that. Use a couple of tires you're not using. Best blades for body mods? Well, I don't know. I use Excel Hobby Blades, number 11 blades. I buy them by the hundreds. I get a 100 pack here. It's like, I don't know, $5 or something. So that's what I would recommend. Crawlmaster Mini ESC is specifically developed around silent operating revolver. Yeah, I have. Oh, you know why? I bought a revolver and I put it in another truck. So that's probably why I have the Crawlmaster Mini sitting here. Duh. 3S on the axle, I recommend with a Team Spec 2040 KV revolver. Copy that. Team Garage Hack is full of very handy information, so you guys should all be thrilled that he's here watching me fumble through this body, because it really is very handy information. All right, so I'm just going to run a bead of some of this MEK along the panel here. Not a ton. I just want to get sort of a loose fit. And I'm going to look at it from this angle so I can get a better look at it in terms of the contours. And I'm just going to kind of press it into place for now. I love MEK. I go through drums of it at work. Yee. Is Wes selling these kits? I'm not sure if he's selling them as kits. He asked me if he wanted him to construct it for me, and I said, no, you go ahead and just send it to me kind of not built, and I'll go from there. Because I like building. Wrapped Graphics, thanks for that. Damn you and flying cars. We got rained. We got rained of the installs here in Oz this morning, and I just started playing it for the 5th time in the background. It's a movie. I'm not sure if I could say it's a good one, but it is definitely a movie. Oh, and thanks for the congrats there. DK, I definitely get more enjoyment out of the building. I think I probably always will. There's just something about it that that really does it for me. I much prefer the build to the actual driving. I love driving, don't get me wrong, but it's probably more for me about the build. Probably about like 65%, I'd say, is about the building. Okay, so now that it's sort of loosely in place there, and you can see there's still a lot of movement. It's not like it's actually on there. It's just sort of like tacked in, I guess you could say. I'm going to do the other side next. And again, just tacking it in place just to get an idea of sort of where we're at with the panels and where I'm going to need to put that in a sort of center grill piece. And how MEK works. How does MEK work? Well, it's a solvent. And what it does is it actually kind of melts the edges that you apply it to. It's sort of the best way to put it. And when you hold pressure on it, it's creating a bond between the two pieces because it's melting the other piece. So it's like a chemical bond. It's like putting these two pieces back together. So I'm sort of CARC corner answering your question for you as you're typing it out there. But the idea is that it sort of like becomes one with the piece that you're connecting it to. I guess that's sort of the easiest way to describe it. And sometimes it takes, like for this tacking process, sometimes it takes 1 or 2 attempts. Almost like welding chemically. Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly, guys. Similar to PVC. Yep, for sure. Does it do that to your lungs as well? Yes, you should be working in a well-ventilated room, which I am. Does this work on Lexan? No, it doesn't. Totally different types of plastic, and it will not bond. All right, so I'm just checking it out here. It looks like we're going to need to do, and you can see here, the gap isn't perfect on this side. It's definitely great looking vapor hood you're using. Well, you can't see it, but there's a window right over there. This side's definitely better than the other. Yeah, MEK is not something you want to spend a lot of time with if you don't have to. That's why I always leave it in a sealed container, and I always use minute amounts of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim off, and you can see where we need to trim. Just a little tiny edge here needs to be sanded down a little bit more, and then it'll probably be a little bit closer there. Yes, I should be wearing glasses, you're right. But I am keeping it pretty far away from my face. But yeah, be careful around it. Yeah, Ryan, exactly. One thing I really did like about this body initially was that it is very much a natural pinch. Now, the real truck does have fenders, and so does this body kit. Wes included everything. But I'm thinking I'm going to try to avoid it. Because that way it's more comp. MEK melts asphalt. MEK melts a lot of stuff. Not Lexan, for example, but a lot of other things it will definitely melt. Okay, that's probably a better fit. I think we can get it even closer. It's all about just kind of working these contours here. There we go. That's looking pretty good now. Any color ideas? No, I don't have any ideas yet on color. Since it's a comp truck, it should be something kind of loud, I think, right? Toss some suggestions in the chat if you have any. PPE Karens everywhere. It's fine, you got contacts on. I don't, actually. No contacts here. Let's get that little bit. I'm going to actually trim out that. I'm going to trim the edge a little bit further. What grits are you using? I'm just using 180. Nothing crazy. There, I think that's going to work. Do it 90s water cup white. That could be a thing, yeah. Oh, I know the pattern you mean, like Josh's shirt. It's a thing, so tie-dye. It's great. Love it. Red Bull. Yeah. It does give you wings, so I've heard anyway. I haven't had a Red Bull and I cannot tell you how long. All right, so basically there's the structure. Noise. And Wes said the most important thing to remember, and then he had to go. No, he said the most important thing to remember is keeping everything square. And at this point, it's not going to be super easy to do that. There's a better angle for you. mostly because we don't have any of the actual structure of the rest of the body done yet. So this was all just sort of like prep, getting it started, seeing how all this is going to fit together, and it looks like it's going to fit together pretty well, which is awesome news. There is supposed to be a panel line there, so we're going to be okay with that. But I do still have to trim away this edge here, so let's do that first. Move that out of the way for a second. Again, pencil line has been added, so we know where to trim away. And I probably should be wearing safety goggles for this part too, but I'm not. Ah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm fine. I'm fine. Can you imagine if there was like a big, like, I don't want to touch wood or something, but it'd be so bad if it was like fiddle-dee-dee, that will require some stitches. And then I have to be like, okay, that's the end of the stream. Gotta go. Somebody out there dial 91 and then just wait for something to happen. Oh, old military plane. I like that idea. That could be kind of cool for sure. With rivets and stuff. I've got actual rivets left over from the Loco Hawk. Could just use those. 30 minutes and only fenders. I blame Josh for the pace. This is the pace I work at all the time. No wonder my builds take so long. Ian Turbot, hello. Safety Schmafety, are you having fun? Always. Always. I've given away a lot of top tips today, and I hope that you guys will all use them and actually try making your own builds with styrene. This is sort of like, this is bonus because this is already done. I'm just gluing it together, basically. I wonder if he means for me to trim out the front panel too. I don't think so. It would make it easier to glue into place, but what I'm going to do is I am going to back it with a piece of styrene. So we're going to like basically weld these pieces together. To the scrap styrene bin. Everybody should have one of these. Everyone needs a giant box of scrap styrene bits. This is like decades. Maybe, gosh, I don't even remember when I started this bin, but it's probably 15 years of like assorted stuff. Look, from cutting out old letters from some sort of Atto yacht. I don't even know what kind of truck that would have been. But what we'll use here is probably something really thin, maybe an 040, maybe even an 020 if I have any. There's some 020 right there. It feels like 020. What we use here is just some of this stuff. And we'll use it to sort of back those pieces. I don't even need a piece that big. What else do we got in here? No. Oh, what's this? No. Here, this'll do. It looks like Josh's foam interior box. This is the let's make something out of styrene bin. And it always comes in handy. Always. Don't leave home without it. Chuck's RC Habit, this body will be 060 when it's finished. And were you the one asking last week about how thick a body had to be in order to qualify for hard body points? Because if you were, it is .060. I looked it up in the Sorka manual the other day. So I'm just trimming off the cruddy edge, because we don't need that. That'll go back in the styrene bin. What's my final glue? Well, I'll kind of do the whole thing with MEK, and then I'll probably hit most of the joints with thick CA after that. And that'll be all I'll need. And you don't have to be too precise with this, because we're just using this as a backer panel. Maybe actually, you know what, now that I think about it, it probably should be the full length. So back to the styrene bin for a moment. And what have I got here? That'll do. Still can't believe MEK has been banned, or it hasn't been, because I'm sure it should have been if it hadn't been already. Scrap foam, I use it all. Yeah, you're doing it wrong if you have leftover foam. I should use my straight angle, but I'm too lazy to get it. And I don't have a small one. I should get a better straight angle than this. Using these squares, which have basically been scraped away over time. Does CA glue make styrene foggy? If you apply it to a painted surface, it certainly would, yeah. It'll definitely fog Lexan too. There are non-fogging ones. Slow Don! Since I'm just getting started, I bought some 020, 040, and 060 sheets and a pack of miscellaneous shapes and sizes. It all came in today. Congrats! Great place to start. Yeah, I'm just making a couple of half-inch strips that are the full length of that panel. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick them in here, thusly. See? And I'll make it contour around that edge there. And then we'll just kind of bond it in place. And what the best use scenario for styrene glue like this is capillary action. And capillary action is where you have the piece applied on the other piece that you want to stick it to, and you just apply a thin bead and it'll actually go into all of the joints. That's how it works. So it just flows right into the joint. And then you don't have to apply nearly as much pressure. Where do you buy styrene? I buy mine in bulk. I buy a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet, and it cost me about 21 bucks. Which is a substantial deal. There's a plastic supply store near where I live. All right, so that's in there. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And when it's nice and thin like this, you can actually kind of pre-bend it so it sits into those contours even better. Adam Tebben, could you build a body with 060 Lexan and would it count? No, it wouldn't. I don't know why. I guess they have some sort of aversion to Lexan for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that's the case. Somebody asked me about my styrene slurry. Yes, I will definitely be using that as well. Good reminder that styrene slurry is one of those things that is fantastic. Where is it? Everything within an arm's reach, because this room is only the size of my arms. Anyway, this is styrene slurry. I have it in this mason jar, and it's probably sealed shut. Yep. Basically, if we can move that around still, yeah. It's like this tacky putty, basically. And that's just styrene that I've melted in some MEK and left to sit in here. And you can use this as putty. And it's a great gap filler. And it's basically, because it is styrene, it'll just fill those gaps. And then you can sand away. It's perfect. I make a little batch of that once a year. It's just chopped up little bits of styrene and all of this leftover stuff from sandpapering, and you just melt it down in some MEK, and that's how it works. How much slurry to, or how much styrene to MEK? Well, it's protected secret recipe. No, I don't have a strong, good number for you to just sort of work from. You just kind of have to play around a bit and guess. Unfortunately, there's no real like strong recipe. It's just sort of like I put this many chunks of styrene in there. Luckily though, you can, it'll evaporate off. So if you have too much or not enough, you can definitely play with that amount. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim back those tabs a little bit. That's the best way to do this. Here we go. Same thing on this side. Acetone works for slurry. I don't know. I don't think it would. It's close, or it's probably the same, but MEK is what I use, and MEK is what I recommend. Make sure to put it on the right way, ding dong. And then what we're going to do basically is just sort of sit it in there. As you can see, the tabs are going to work perfectly. Why did you block me on Instagram? I don't remember blocking anybody on Instagram. Sorry if that happened. I don't know. No idea. That's basically what we're going to be doing. As you can see, there is a bit of a gap, but that's intentional because there is a gap on the real truck. So let's quickly kind of place that into place. And like I said, we're just sort of tacking things together at this point because I want to make sure that this is all undoable in case I've gotten everything out of square. And the way that Wes has sort of done this, it is kind of easier to make that happen if need be, which is great. I'm really pretty chuffed about this. Can you make slurry from styrene foam? Styrene foam? No idea. I don't know what styrene... I've never heard of styrene foam. I searched for Scale Builders Guild and I didn't see it. I can look into it later. Honestly, I don't remember blocking anybody, so I can look into it. Like shipping foam. I don't think that's styrene. Only VW I ever had that didn't have gaps was the Beetle that could float. So yeah, there's the sort of the beginnings of it anyway. I think that's going to be kind of cool. Lots more to do on this one, obviously. But we're getting there, and you can sort of get an idea of the width. Because this is squares. How many squares is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. 7.5 squares. So that's not too wide. I think it actually looks pretty good without the fenders, if I'm honest. Like the outer fenders. Grill is upside down. No, it isn't. Not at all. How do I know? Bob A, yes, this is for a Class 2. Expanded styrene foam is made differently. Yep. Thank you, Canyon Racer. Yes, definitely a Class 2. Otherwise, we would need some sort of tire coverage, which isn't a thing for this, which is good. The whole thing is upside down. It is quite large. Let me get one of the side panels so you have an... Whoa! We're going to have to zoom out for that. But yeah, it does get quite long quite quickly. I think it's a 12.3 inch wheelbase though, so yeah, it's gonna be a chonker. But that's why I'm thinking of going no fender, and I want those hard body points. Who knows? You know, it's still so early. Maybe it'll end up not being this build that becomes the Class 2. I mean, the chassis definitely. One more of those cans and the whole thing will be upside down, you balonies. Yeah, so that's a little bit of styrene work for tonight. Where's that chassis gone to? Oh, yeah, maybe if we don't go styrene, maybe we do go Lexan and put this body on the chassis instead. I was considering this, but I don't know. I did such a nice job on it. I don't want to wreck it. Which seems so lame. Just wreck it. It's a comp truck, no fenders. Yeah, exactly. Stabby Josh, there was no dremeling tonight. Just straight up, regular old cuts. This cliffhanger body is good. I'm definitely... Oh, I'm not stopping with building the thing. The thing is going to get built. It's whether or not it ends up becoming a comp truck or not. That's sort of what I'm sort of like leaning around. You're going to feel the same way about the VW. No, I'm not. Let's wreck it. But yeah, if you have never seen the Thing truck, it's worth checking out because it is a unique truck. I've never seen anything quite like it. And when Wes mentioned he was going to do one, I was like, oh yeah, that's perfectly weird. Just doing some capillary action here. You'd rather wreck a nice hard body. Yes. I don't know. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think this is going to be a fun build. There's obviously a ton more work to be done on it. And the thing that I didn't spend any time on today and actually didn't even really think about was the bed, sort of the piece that will go from basically the door panel here. Speaking of door panels, Wes did all the door panels in 3D printed, whatchamacallit, resin. So these will all be included, which is pretty cool. But what ends up happening here is there's a bed that goes basically the full length from the door back. And it should be enough depth for full drop bed points. But I have to create that square. Wes didn't include that, which is fine. I can cut a square out of styrene, usually. But that's going to go in here, and then that'll help kind of square out the whole thing. So that'll be sort of like the litmus test for how close I am on all these other things. So, yeah. That will come with time. It's definitely going to be a fun truck to build, though. Definitely. Definitely. Do not use the fenders on that. It would look so good without them, in my opinion. Yeah, let's take a look at those fenders for a hot second here. Let me find one. Oh, for anybody who's been asking what was in that box from a couple weeks back, we'll be doing We'll be doing that soon. I think this is it. It needs to be trimmed so it won't fit properly. He's also, where's the other stuff? Yeah. You're gonna tuck the bed. You mean like pinch or dovetail it? I might comp it up, you know, do some comp work. Anyway, he's got all the like headlight bezels on there too, which are pretty slick. I think it goes this way. Maybe it goes this way. I don't remember now. I need to look at a picture of it. Let me look. Yeah, it's right. That, okay. So this does go here. Yep. And then this will go on this side. But it does need to be contoured, which I'm going to suck at. I'm never good at that part. But I think we'll figure out a way to just put the headlights in the front grille somewhere along here. You know, like we'll just do something goofball like that. And that'll be enough. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, guys. We'll get there. I'm not worried. Let me look at these comments here. Anything can be considered nice if you think it's nice. What is that? A thing? Yes, it is a thing. Matt, when guys use CA glue in the States, they spray an accelerator on it to speed up the bond. Yeah, I have that. I have that here. Hang on. I will show you. So, regular everyday old CA glue, and then to go with that, Instaset accelerator. I don't have the spray can like an aerosoled one. I just have this plain old pump, but it works fine, and it works well. Oops, squeaky chair. I think everyone should have to take a drink or something when the chair squeaks. Yeah, the cliffhanger is so expected for a comp build. Matt does not do what's expected. That's true. That's true. As evidenced by the jelly bean, which still hasn't ever actually seen a comp. Shucks. Shucks darn it. Where did you get the BSI stuff in Canada? Not G10. I got it at Hobby Hobby. You can pick it up there. It's a comp truck. No fenders and pinch the rear. That would look cool. Okay. I'll make that happen somehow. I guess we'll have to do another cut on one of these body panels, but that's actually, maybe we wouldn't. Actually, we could just do a notch there and a notch there, and then just score it and just go just bend it in. Put the lights in the grill like a Baja Bug. Will do. That's a great idea. What kind of glue for the headlight bezel? I would CA that. Yeah, for sure. Can we see an example of gluing your fingers together? Well, okay. Hang on. Let me just get the... No, we're not doing that. RC Master, hello? Did I buy the accelerator at the hobby store? Yes, I did. Should put the lights... Yeah, we did that one already. Do you have a build series on the Jelly Bean? Adam, yes, I do. Road to the Scale Nationals 2020. Check that one out. Well, take a drink of anything. You don't have to drink alcohol. That's not alcohol. That's a bubbly. Go terrible resto mod and just mount an ugly light bar instead of headlights. Also a good choice. Great, I gotta drive to Mississauga now. Well, Mike, I highly recommend that store. It comes highly recommended. You can say hi to Dave, who works there. Do you think a 2021 Traxxas Bronco truck like a Traxxas Gladiator. Do I think a 2021 Traxxas Bronco truck? Oh, like a Gladiator would be cool. In real life? I don't know. I'm not as much of a fan of the Bronco as I thought I was going to be. It's way too big for my liking anyway. And a truck version, I don't think they're going to do one. They've already got a pretty good selling truck over at Ford. What wheels and tires? Good question, Ryan. I've got a bunch of choices that I got to make on that one. I bought some more Hyraxes because I like, you know, it's a good tire. Not a realistic tire by any means, but it's a good looking tire in terms of its performance. I've got these Wrangler MTRs mounted up on these KMCs that I thought were kind of cool, but I don't know, they're ginormous for this truck. Maybe, well, I mean, everyone's going to run 475s. So, I actually did order some IFRs today, Ben. Funny you should ask. I ordered IFRs, just the wheel rings, and just one set of wheels. I've also got these terrible Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X's mounted up as well. In RC Life. I mean, you could give it a shot. I've seen a couple people do it already. What else have I got? I've got these Proline trenchers mounted up on these gold and black methods, which I thought were pretty sick as well. You realize we'd all be drunk now with the squeaking, right? So yeah, lots of options. I don't know what I'm gonna do. There's so many choices. Wheels and tires, I labor over. I could spend... I forgot to... Trenchers are good. Baja Pro X are not so bad with better foams. Yeah, I've already replaced the foams in those ones. Yeah. Anyways, what else have we got that we can share? In terms of chassis, we got that all figured out, and now TGH has given me some good things to think about in terms of drive shafts and motor choice. And yeah, I should have pulled that. I don't know why I didn't pull the revolver and just use that. I think I probably will do that. Anywho, MTRs will look good with those KMCs. Yeah, it might be a good choice because this is sort of a vintage truck. Like a one-of-one truck. They didn't make a lot of these. I don't know why. But yeah, everything's kind of coming together here, so that's really great. All right. Jet, I don't have a link handy, but I'm sure if you Googled it, it might come up. I swear I've seen one on Instagram. Regardless, I think that's where we're going to end it for tonight. I know it was only an hour, but I just kind of wanted to get a start on this, so I was motivated to keep working on it. The wow motor. Yes, Jesse, you're so right on that. You guys are welcome for the new drinking game. But thank you very much for hanging out with me for an hour and watching me fiddle around with this. I think it's going to be a really fun build. I already love the front end of this. It's just so comp in such a weird way. I think it's going to look really great. I'm really excited. And thanks for hanging out with me while I did it. Let me get through some thank yous here. Brian Sherwood, Team Garage Hack, Dark Horse Garage, TGH again, Hobby Room, Black Venom Radio Control, The Good Stewarts, Psycho 13 Garage, TGH, Wrapped Graphics, and Slowdown. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, I've got a video coming out this week all around the thingy that was in the box. So we'll get that started. I'm looking forward to that, actually. It's going to be a blast. And see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, with that guy from that other thing. So thanks, everybody, for watching. And keep the questions rolling. If you've got other questions or you want to learn more about styrene building, I've got a bunch of other videos that cover the basics, so you can check that out. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Have a great night. Love you. Bye.